Hey guys, what's up? Steve here, and currently working on the GM. So what I'm doing now is doing the battle damage, or painting the battle damage, and doing the weathering and stuff. So I've done this piece for the most part. I still need to add some weathering pigments and stuff to it. But yeah. Basically what I've done is using a very nice and small brush. I think it's an 18-0 spotter. I just went through and painted wherever I did any damage with the Dremel tool before painting. Next, what I'm going to do is go over these pieces with black, so dry brushing. So I'll do another piece. In case you guys haven't seen dry brushing before, basically just get a little bit of paint on your brush and then just kind of brush off any excess. Sorry, you can't even see that. I'll do this left-handed. Get as much off as you can until you're kind of comfortable with it, and then just kind of paint the edges. The reason I painted silver before is that I kind of want to dull down the silver. It's actually Runefang Steel Citadel paint. So yeah, I'm just going to go through and just dry brush all these pieces. I've already finished the shield, really mucking it up and stuff. So I used a variety of techniques on this, so I'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and dry brush all these pieces. Alright, I finished dry brushing with the Chaos Black Citadel color. Next, what I need to do is actually a few things. I'm kind of deciding what I want to do next. So what I think I'm going to do are some mud and rust effects. So to do those, I'm going to use a sponge, and I'm going to start with the mud effects first. And all you do is kind of just dip the corner of a sponge, so you get a little paint on there. Just kind of get the excess off, just like you did with the dry brush. And on the feet, just going to go ahead and add a little bit of mud. So I don't think I mentioned while I was doing it, but another reason for dry brushing over the silver is that the black will bring out the raised details in the damage. If that focus, you might be able to tell. Probably not. It just adds a little added depth to the damage. So, just going to add some mud. So there are a couple ways of doing this kind of thing. I'm actually going to use two different ways. First, I'm going to be using the paint to add some mud, and then I will be using weathering pigments to add some more mud. and sand and dirt and stuff. But the paint will stick out a lot more, and the pigments will be a lot more subtle. So it gives me depth of effect, sort of. Sure, get some dirt up in the legs as well, or mud. Now for the other leg. Cool. So you can see I've added some on the shield as well. Once I've done like all the weathering and stuff, it'll kind of get blurred down a bit, but that's what that looks like. If you're wondering what color this was, it's Bane Blade Brown, one of the new Citadel colors. Now for some rust. So this can be painted on, or it could be applied with a sponge. So I'm going to first paint some on, and then I'm going to apply some with a sponge. What I'm going to do is, where there's some damage, I'm just going to go ahead and add a bit of rust on the bottom sides. I'm not going to go too crazy, just add a little bit here and there. So good places are like little crevices and stuff. And like when I start to add more things to this will really get like blended in, so it'll kind of fade. Just kind of be a very subtle effect. If you add a bit of water to your brush as well, it'll help it kind of brush on a bit and kind of fill in like little gaps and cracks and stuff a little easier. And if you want to thin it out as well. ones, I don't think I mentioned what this was called, Mornfang Brown. And to do paint chips, it's quite simple. It's the same technique as applying the mud. Just get a little bit of paint on the corner, and pat it off until you're happy with the way it looks. Oops, I'm not even doing this on camera, sorry. So I don't want to go overboard with this rust, but just add a little paint or rust chips here and there. Cool. I think that's good for that. You could also do paint chips just using black. These are good to do on decals. Makes it kind of look like the paint has chipped off the decal. Just makes it show its age. Cool. This paint's drying really quickly. It's because I've had this open for a long time. I think that's it. So, cool. What I also could do is dry brush using, I'd probably use bulk gunmetal to dry brush. That's what I've always used. But I don't want to dry brush with a metallic right now. So what I'm actually going to do is move on to applying the weathering pigments. So these are Tamiya's weathering sets. I've got a whole bunch of them. And if you get these, what I recommend you do is actually get little containers that you can actually just take all this pigment stuff out and put into to keep separate. That way you don't contaminate the different colors. That's what's happening with these kits. It's really kind of bugging me. So next time I'm at the craft store, I'm gonna pick up some little containers that I can use for storing these pigments, or I could just upgrade to better quality ones like MIG production pigments. I do want to get a bunch of those. They have some cool pigments and weathering effects that I'd like to try out. And there's also AK Interactive. They make some pigments and weathering stuff as well. So I recommend that stuff actually over Tamiya's, but Tamiya's is a lot easier to get, cheaper. Well, it's not easier to get. You can. These actually are probably harder to get, but yeah. Anyways, let's get back to what we're doing. So what I'm going to do now is start to add mud to the feet, and then some light sand like all over the kit. Sometimes you need to use like a toothpick just to break up a little of the pigment, and get a bunch on your little brush and just go ahead and apply it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to clear coat over this instead of using a pigment fixer. But what that's going to do is it's going to dull this down quite a bit. So I need to either go really heavy or just accept that it's going to dull down. So I'm just going to put it in select spots, like get it on the very bottoms, the feet and stuff. No one's going to see that, but I'm still just going to add a bunch in there. Just to really muck it up and stuff. Just going to get the edge of the feet. So it's kind of daunting to use these at first. Because you kind of just throw it on and it's like, this doesn't look that good. That's why I'm going to clear coat it, because it just kind of not saturates, it really dulls it down, I guess, and just kind of blends it in with the model versus just kind of looking like it's on the surface. So, cool. I'm going to go ahead and apply a bit more mud on different parts of this kit, and I'll be back. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and apply sand. I don't feel like washing my sponge right now, so I'm just going to use another one. I actually have a bunch of these that I picked up at the craft store. I thought I had remembered seeing some like nice ones, but all they had were a pack of these like really cheap ones. So I might get some of Tamiya's weathering sponges, but I might not. So what I'm doing now is using the sand. I'm just going to go over pretty much the entire kit, just get a light layer across everything. Just makes it look dirty, dusty. And it kind of works as a wash, or not a wash, as a filter. So when you do camo like this, it's good to use a filter which will kind of dull all the colors down and kind of blend them together like in the same shade. It's a clear paint that you just kind of spray over everything just to bring it all in. But I don't have one that would work for the camo I've done, so I'm just going to use sand to kind of as a filter. So, and actually I don't want to go overboard and just cover everything, but most parts I do want to get sand. So next what I'm going to do is actually apply some of this burnt blue into places like, you could sort of see it there where that explosion took place on the shield. I've got another place like that on this leg here, where that whole part of the leg is just kind of blown out. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply some of that. And you can kind of apply it where there's been like major damage to like the steel or whatever armor this mobile suit has. Don't go heavy with that stuff. You just kind of lightly add a bit. Just kind of makes it look like it's been burnt. Not only do it over like really large damage, kind of. Now, to do like water effects, water streaking, it's kind of hard. I don't have any products meant for that. So I'm going to add soot to blast marks as well, kind of around the outsides. Because when you have an explosion, it usually leaves kind of like soot and stuff. And also on the back skirts underneath where the thrusters will be, definitely going to add a whole bunch of soot there. Can add some rust as well places. We've got the normal rust here, and there's orange rust, which is a lot brighter. It'll stand out quite a bit more. But I think I'm happy with the amount of weathering and stuff I've done to this kit. What I'm going to do now is top coat it using a flat. I'm going to use Model Masters. And yeah, again, what that's going to do is just kind of dull everything down, and it's going to work as a pigment fixer. And a lot of people, a lot of professionals probably wouldn't do that, but that's what I'm doing. It works for me. So, and after top coating, this is what he looks like. So you can notice that all the mud and dust is really kind of blended in with the paint and stuff, so it's not like a dusty mess. So that's really up to you. I choose to do it that way, but you could just apply the weathering pigments and just leave it, or use a fixer or something. So yeah, basically it just comes down to learning how to use things like the pigments and dry brushing and paint chipping effects, and brushing with a hand brush. So there are a lot of videos out there on hand painting, weathering and stuff. That those kind of videos for like figurines and stuff could be helpful for doing that onto a Gundam. And yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. I'm going to continue to learn new weathering techniques and stuff, and probably get my hands on some of the MIG chipping effect. It's something I want to try out, and some of the AK interactive water streaking effects and stuff, and some other effects they have too that I can try on future kits and stuff. So stay tuned for a video on that. I'm sure I'll do one once I get the hang of it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.